When I saw ma'am's message, then only I came to realize that it was from 9. Okay. Anyway, I will not take too much. I will just take for 15 to 20 minutes. So today's chapter is milk hygiene. So one thing you have to know about milk, and the next thing you have to know is about milk hygiene. So whenever we talk about milk in terms of VPH, because what we think in VPH and what we think in LPT is two different things. Okay. In LPT, they may go for according to the PFA 1972 or 71 or 75, etc. But in VPH, milk, they are defined as the fresh, wholesome, clear lacteal secretions, which is obtained by complete milking of one or more apparently healthy udder. And this milk is excluded, that is 15 days before and 5 days after calving, or during the periods in which there is a milk colostrum. Okay, so whenever we talk about milk, it should be completely free from milk colostrum. So we are talking about the wholesome as well as clear as well as the fresh lacteal secretion, which is obtained from the healthy udder. It may be only from the one of the teats or all four teats, but we are talking the healthy udders, which is from which the milk is being obtained, and it should be because whenever the cows are pregnant, they are secreting the colostrum. That may be for 15 days before calving and 5 days after calving. Okay, so basically it should be free from 15 days or 5 days free from colostrum, and they should be having the minimum standard of the percentage of the milk fat as well as the solid not fats. Okay, so milk fats, I think in your LPT class you have already studied. What is the milk percentage of cow? Anybody having any idea? Or what is the SNF? Anybody? Come on, give me an answer. Or you have studied or not? Hey guys, come on here, give me some answer here. Come on. Yes or no? You have studied or not? Or you have studied but you couldn't recollect it? And it's okay for my this thing.
Sir, we haven't studied, sir.
Okay. So it's so hard to say something like that. Okay, milk is having a certain percentage. The milk, they are having a certain percentage, and they are also having solid fats. Yes, the classes will be using about the milk fats, the difference between the cow milk and the buffalo milk. All those things you'll be studying. Okay, so I'll not just what to say stress too much of it. When you right now you are taking LPT, they are taking meat or milk. Which one they are taking?
Meat.
Meat.
Yes,
Okay
sir.
then. Okay then. It's good. Then I'm starting milk. So you guys will be having a little bit knowledge. So generally, so milk. When we are talking about, just remember that it's a wholesome, fresh, clear lactal sections which is obtained from one or more udder of the healthy udder of the cow, say, or 5 and it should have the minimum prescribed as well as SNF, that is solid not fat. Okay. Then let's come to the milk hygiene. When we talk about a component of the veterinary public health, and here we are talking about the hygiene, which is in relation to the production of milk and its product. And the main area that we are mainly concerned was the national obligation to ensure the safety of the consumers, that is the public. So this is what milk hygiene is all about. Okay. Now the present status, like in India, is that the Amul was first started in India, and it was basically started in the Kaira district. And this is Amul doesn't normally means that Anand Milk Union Limited. And then after that, we had the NDDB, that is the National Dairy Development Board. Right now, India is the largest milk producer in the world. If you exclude the European Union, because European Union is a conglomeration of many countries, European countries. But as a country, a single country, India is the largest milk producer. But this, just check it out. 2021, I could not get the information. So the milk production in India is 196.18 million tons. And the per capita availability, that means per person in India, they are drinking about 375 gram per day. Okay. So this is just for your information. Now comes the clean milk production. Whenever we say about the clean milk production, it's very important. It is very important because if you don't have the clean milk, if you don't drink the clean milk, then definitely you will be suffering from certain kind of diseases. So clean milk is basically milk that is drawn from the udder of the healthy animals and which is collected in the dry as well as clean utensils. And the utensils are completely free from extraneous matter such as like dust, dirt, flies, etc. And normal composition and the which is normal composition and possesses natural milk flavor and has a very low bacterial count, and which is completely free for completely safe for human consumption. So that is nothing but your clean milk production. So basically, the clean whenever you're taking out the milk from the udder of the healthy animals, definitely if the animals are not healthy, then your clean milk production does not come into account. So the clean milk production starts right from the health of the animal to the environment as well as to the utensils, because the animal, if it is not healthy, definitely the milk will not be in a good condition, which will not be fit for consumption. Number two, if your environment is very dirty, for example, there are a lot of flies, there are a lot of dirt, then definitely the milk that you're taking out or the milk that you're going to drink, definitely from the environment, it is going to be affected. Number three is that the utensils. At your home also right now, if you see that your parents or your caretakers, they are always taking milk in a very clean utensils, right? They will always make sure the utensils are dry. Number one, they will always make sure that the utensils are cleaned properly. And the reason is that if the utensils are not cleaned properly, they become another source of infection. Okay, maybe the milk cannot be kept for a longer period of time. Number one, or maybe the utensils may become one of the point source through which the different type of organisms or different type of zoonotic organisms may enter to you. Okay, so this is nothing but your clean milk productions. So in clean milk productions, we are talking the definition itself has given you a lot of meaning. So these are the three important points. Number one is the milch animals. Health of the animals and cleaning of the animals, it comes into account. So when we talk about the health of the animals, definitely if you guys, in human beings also, if you guys are not healthy, definitely you guys will not be able to work properly, right? Suppose you are sick and there is an exam, and definitely you guys will not be able to give the exam. It's not it. So that is what the milch animals, that is what the health of the animals is important. Cleaning of animals, it's very, very important, because what is happening is that maximum number of contamination is happening because of the dirt that is present in the animal. For example, they are producing dungs. We are not cleaning the cow dungs or the buffalo dungs, etc. Then definitely that becomes one of the sources. Number two is that the udders, before and after the milking, it is always clean, because what is happening is that if the udders are being affected, then the udders, then while milking the milk through the udders, the microorganisms have every chances of entering to the udders and causing different type of diseases. Number two is the environment. You have gone to your LPM sheds, I suppose, and you have seen the stables, etc. Then you have always, I think, your LPM teachers have always meant, what to say, emphasize why the stable should be clean. Because what happens is that if the stables are not clean, the animals are basically lying in the stables, on the grounds of the stables, right? So that is one of the places through which the uh, productions are being affected. Number two is that good housing and manure disposal systems. So good housing and manure disposal systems, again, it's very important because manure is one of the main reasons by which the microorganisms or the zoonotic infections do happen. For example, E. coli. E. coli is present in each and every person because it is a bacteria which is present inside you. But many of the E. coli's are also causing diarrhea or many other diseases. So that type of diseases can enter uh, from the environment through milk. Then feed and water. Feeding and watering also is very, very important because good feeds, if it is not maintained, then there is every chances of having fungal diseases like your aflatoxinosis that is generally present in the feed. And the water again, through water there are many type of diseases that can enter to the milk animals as well, so that indirectly it can affect us. Then the number three is your utensils. Then when we talk about the utensils, it's not only about the utensils in which the milk is being stored, it is also about the milker's hygiene. For example, the person who is milking is not disease free, he is having some kind of ailment, then definitely there are every chances from him, uh, the microorganisms, say any other, say TB, if that person is suffering from TB, then there is every chances that the TB may enter through from him to the milk, and from that person's we may get the infection, or it may be like that the person is suffering from TB, the animal may be affected by TB. Okay, so these are the three things that are very, very important. So these are the sources of contaminations. Like I've said, the three main sources are the milch animals, the utensils, and the environment. So number one of the sources of contamination is the practice at the organized as well as the unorganized dairies. One of them is the interior of the udders. So milk generally obtained from the healthy udders of the animal, they generally contain some kind of microorganisms, which are generally acquired from the walls of the duct along with the teat canal. So what happens is that whenever a milker is milking such healthy udders, you will see that they are always, uh, first of all, whenever they are milking, they will be, letting out some few streams of milk is withdrawn. So the problem and the thing is that whenever they are milking, they will always, it is always advised to, you know, take out, to let some of the steam out from the udder, because that is the period at which most of the microorganisms are present. That means the microorganism present in the udder will be at the highest. Okay, so the bacterial count basically at that time generally used to be between 500 to 1000 per ml. So so whenever you are collecting the milk, a few stream of the milk should always be discarded. Okay, and what is happening is that when you are before milking and after milking, this udder or the teat should always be washed, and it should be then it should be rubbed right with a very clean clothes. Okay, that is number one. So that is about the that thing. Then from the environmental, you can see that this is one of the environment in the conditions, and you can see that it is not being cleaned properly. So basically, what is happening is that on the surface of the environment, or say when we are talking about the surface, we are talking about the floor in this country. So the microorganisms which are present in the in the surface, they can be about 10,000 bacteria, etc. Okay, and generally, like I've said, that the surface, because they are defecating, I mean, they are producing dungs, and in the dungs there may be a lot of E. coli, or say the fecal coliforms, and they may, they may suffer from, say, summer complaint, or say the infantile diarrhea, because you are consuming such type of milk which is being contaminated with E. coli or the coliform animals, bacteria. So that is the reason why the environment has to be kept very, very clean. Okay, and the in your LPM classes, I mean, in your LPM practicals, so have you seen what was the flow? Which type of flow they were using? It was brick, concrete, which type?
Concrete, sir.
Concrete. Okay, and how were they washing the floor? Did you wash or did you do anything, or you were just staring and you were just looking at it?
Clean of food.
Okay, before that they didn't do anything. I mean, like there is a cow dung there out there, and they will just use K-Menafo. Okay, they poured water, and after watering, they brushed off, they swept off, and after that, that much only. Oh, no, I don't believe it. Yeah. Then from where the K-Menafo came? Ah, from where the K-Menafo came? I mean, this area, will it not be disinfected or not? Like, what exactly will happen there? So, in your LPM practicals, what exactly did you do? Casting. Hey, answer me, guys. Come on. Only. And what else? And okay, okay, fine, fine. Then they taught. And what about the cleaning as well as handling of the cows inside the cattle shed? Of course, those are important, how to take out the age and all, casting and all. But what about the cleanliness of the cattle shed? Did they taught you?
Spraying disinfectant
Okay,
on the floor and walls.
okay, and then what else? Okay, in your farm, was it head to head or tail to tail? The arrangements,
Tail to tail.
tail to tail. Okay, what is the disadvantage and advantage of tail to tail? What is the advantage of tail to tail?
So as the
Guys, I
animals,
wanted.
are
Yeah.
in tail to tail position, so there might not be so much crowding for the food and all the stuff. So they will take the food separately in the two different directions. And the space between the two rows, it would be sufficient for the animals.
Okay, and what is the disadvantage of it?
Spread of reproductive diseases.
Spread of reproductive diseases. Okay, fine. And what else? Only the one. Only one or what?
That cleaning of the feces that drain, it will not be dry.
And then
So difficulty in supervision for the milkers.
okay. Okay. I was just putting your legs. Okay. Anyway, okay. Environmental is important. Like, see, if the environment is not clean now, okay, because of the carbons, like I already said about the coliform bacteria, right? And one of the most notorious coliform bacteria are the E. coli. Then there are certain types of other diseases like Staphylococcus or say the Campylobacter, etc. That will be explaining in the subsequent classes. Number two is that because the floor and all are not clean, so there may be chances of a lot of flies being produced there, and that flies may create havoc. Okay. Uh, I don't have to tell you about the different type of diseases that is caused by flies, because in many of the diseases, sometimes the flies are also a mechanical carrier for a particular type of diseases. Okay, so that is why the environment part has to be very, very taken care of, and maximum time we have seen that the environmental part has never been taken care of, because people think that okay, this is something where uh, they don't have to take too much of attention. But yeah, for example, if this floor was full of cow dungs and these animals are laying on the cow dungs, then definitely the udders, the milk teats, they will be definitely infected, or they will be definitely smeared with the cow dungs. And suppose you don't clean the cow dungs, so definitely you, when you are milking, some part of the cow dungs are entering into the system, that is into the milk. Okay, and that invariably is affecting the consumption or the consumers or the persons who are drinking the milk. So that is what we are talking about, the clean milk production, milk hygiene. We are mainly concerned about consumers as well as the health of the animals, as well as those persons who are uh, drawing the milk, or the cow milkers or the milkers or the handlers. Okay, so these three important criteria that we are talking about. Then milkers, or say the handlers. Whenever we are talking about the milkers, definitely it is very important, not only from the milk point of view, but for also in the meat industries also. We are always telling the persons to be, they should be healthy, they should be fit enough, and they should be not having any kind of diseases. They should be clean, they should not be smoking during that particular time, when you're talking about milking or you're talking about the meat inspection, and they should not be chewing tobaccos, etc. Because what is happening is that there are every chances that the smell from, or when you're chewing tobacco or when you're drinking, etc., whatever, there is every chances that the smell may enter into the other environment, that is the milk or the meat. For example, if you are milking, you are not supposed to provide silages during milking. During milking, what happened is that the farmers sometimes used to give some edible materials to the cows, so that they can easily milk the cows, right? But during those days, during that time, they are not. They are basically not allowed to give silages, because what is happening is that when they give the silages, when the milk, when the cows are eating the silages, then the smell of the silages can enter into the milk, and that gives an off flavor to the consumers. Okay, so likewise, even in the meat, uh, there was an incident in the Maharashtra. One of my friends, they had gone to, one of the abattoirs, and in the abattoirs they were all from Nepal side or from Uttarakhand side. So this guy, being a Marathi, he asked the person like, "Why you're not employing the Marathis? Why you guys are employing outsiders?" Then he said that, "Okay, I will not tell you the answer. The chief said that he is not going to answer. Then he took them out in a very secure position, and he said that, look, uh, if I'm employing the Marathis, the problem is that they don't take orders from me. They will always eat tobaccos, they will not be clean shaved, and they will not be, taking any orders from me, which is in contrast to the production of meat. So what happened is that these are certain things that you have to take care of whenever you are handling the cattle, or whenever you are handling the any in this thing sheds of the animals. Then thing is that when we're talking about the milkers, or whenever we're talking about the handlers, they should not be have any. They should be devoid of diseases, because diseases like typhoid, say diphtheria, scarlet fever, septic sores, cough, cold, they can contribute to the transmission of disease to the susceptible individuals, as well as the susceptible individuals by contaminating the milk, you know, and the products. And many of the serious epidemics that has happened in India or of the world is because of this, because of the milks or the milk handlers. Okay, because what happens is that they are the one who are suffering from the diseases, and they are the one who are handling, and therefore they become the carriers. Okay, that is the reason the milk handlers should be very much healthy, and if they are sick, then they should apply for the sick leave, so that they can so the other person may carry out his or her duties. Then comes the utensils. Whenever we are talking about the utensils, you know, you're not only talking about the 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 utensils in which you are basically keeping the milk. We are also talking about the wholesalers, the retailers, and the vendors. Okay, so basically, whenever these utensils are not kept properly, then these utensils may become the most prolific for the uh, contamination of the microorganisms. So many a times, what happened was that in olden days they used to just milk the animals in a bucket, in a milk can, or in a bucket which was not properly washed and inadequately sanitized and inadequately dried. Or so what happened was that the bacteria such as typhoid fever may had found their way into the milk, and it was because of the utensils. And number two is that when we are talking about the storage, what to say, storage of milk in a chilling tank. So basically, what happens is that whenever you are milking the animal, the milk should be always stored, or the temperature is always maintained at 0 or to 4 degrees Celsius. Generally, in India, we are maintaining it at 3 to 4 degrees Celsius before pasteurization. Okay, so uh, because most of our farmers, they don't have the chilling tanks, etc. So what happened is that the persons who are collecting the milk, they will find it, and they will milk the cows, and they will directly go and store it. I mean, pour it into the this thing in a big container, and from that big container they will be directly taking into the milk plants, and there they will be storing it at 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. Because if the milk is not being stored at 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, there is every chance like organisms such as Staphylococcus aureus, your yeast, your coliforms, these are the organisms which may be affecting the milk at this particular juncture. Okay, when you're not storing the milk properly. Then comes the transport. The transport has to be very much important, and the milk tankers, whenever they are being added, they should be very much proper maintained, because improper maintenance of the milk tankers uh, can add the microbiological contamination in milk. Therefore, the longer period you're storing the milk, the higher chances that it gets contaminated because of microbiological organisms. So In India, we are having a lot of problem. It has been since long that we are having always this type of problems. So the main thing is that the collection of the milk can be done in a tanker, in a chilling tanks as soon as possible, and that chilling tank will go to the main main grid plants, and there it will be, poured down. So these are some of the areas where what to say, this thing. These are the three factors which can contaminate or which can affect the milk and the milk composition, and indirectly which can affect you guys. Okay, so so these are the three factors, and this is about the milk hygiene and the clean milk production. I would request you to please look into this one. Maybe this is 1 year old or 2 year old data. So just check it out, because I could not. I was not able to do it. So these are the things that is for today's class. If there are any question you can please ask me. And today only 42 students have attended the class. Okay. So any questions, guys? Okay, then if not, thanks so much for your time, and I apologize for not taking the class at 9 because I completely forgot it. Okay, guys, I'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.